Onua, mekyea, mejidise ohoye. You're welcome back to another lesson here on LEARNAKAN.com, and today we are continuing our series on describing ourselves. We've already looked at how to describe our height, so there's a link up here. You can go and check out that lesson if you haven't taken it. And today I want us to look at our complexion. So how do you describe your complexion to other people, as well as describe the complexion of other people to others? By the end of today's lesson, you should be able to describe your complexion, whether you're black, you're white, you're somewhere in between, you're light skin, and all that. Okay? So before we get into actually describing our complexion, let's look at some vocabulary items around this. So in Twi, you are either brony or obroni, a white person, so a Caucasian, or bibini or obibini, a black person, so an African. And it doesn't matter which part of the world you are from or the color of your skin, you'll be described as being one of these two. So either you are brony, a white person, or you are bibini, a black person. You may be asking, how about brown people? Well, like I said, it doesn't matter the color of your skin or which part of the world you are from, you'll be described as being one of these two. So if you are Indian, so let's take this Indian for example. If she finds herself in a typical village here in Ghana, it will not be surprising that you find kids run after her shouting, Obroni, Obroni, Obroni. Because we don't really distinguish between the different shades of being white. Sometimes even mixed race people, depending on how light they are, get called Obroni or Abrofo, the plural, in some communities here in Ghana. And I'm thinking Chris Brown here. So what I mean to say is, for being white, we don't really distinguish between different shades, except if one is very white, so like snow white. Sometimes we add fita to the bruni, and then we get obroni fita, okay? Obroni fita to mean one who is very white. But apart from that, every bruni is a bruni. Now, with that aside, let's move to bibini. The plural is a bibifo, black people, Africans, okay? Now, this is where it gets interesting. So we have different shades of blackness. So not every black is just black. If you are bibini, you can be tum, and this is very dark, right? So this is like the extreme in terms of the blacks, right? So when you are described as being tum, it means you are very dark. So somebody like Michael Blackson.
One guy told me I look like under the bed. They told me Stevie Wonder sees me every day. That's dark as
He's not even that black. So you see that model, the black model, yeah, I'll put her here. Yes, she can be described as being tum. And because there aren't too many people like her, sometimes this tum is used in a derogatory manner to insult you. So someone can tell you, you are too black, you are too dark skinned, all right? Your skin is as black as charcoal. So we have bidi as charcoal, right? So at the extreme, at the very extreme of being black, you can be described as being tum, very dark skinned, all right? Now, beneath this, we can have tuntum, which is your regular dark skin. So if you are describing yourself and you think you are dark skinned, you can say, me tuntum, right? Me tuntum, I am dark skinned. Or me nipa tuntum, I am a dark skinned person. Beneath tuntum, we can have jiji. Jiji. And this is not an adjective like the previous ones. This is a verb. When we say jiji, jiji means to be or to become a little light in color, right? When something is or becomes a little light in color, we say ejiji, right? Ejiji. So this verb is typically used to describe, for example, fruits. Let's take an orange, for example. So an orange will start out being green, right? So if you find an orange on a plant, before it's ripe, it's green, right? And then when it starts to ripe, it doesn't move from being green straight to being yellow. it will start becoming a little light, right, in color. And in that phase, so at that time, we'll say ankano ajije. Okay, ankano ajije. So the orange has become a little light in color, as in it's moving away from being green to being ripe. So when you use this verb to describe someone's skin color, then you are saying that the person is not dark, but is a little below being dark. So the person is moving away from being dark towards the light, skin color. If you are fair-skinned, and please forgive me for this one, because I've been told that using the word fair to describe one's complexion can be derogatory. Unfortunately, this is what we're taught in our English class here in Ghana. So please, I may be using, Ghana English here, and I don't mean anything derogatory, okay? So being fair is, I've been told, is just light skin. So if you are fair, then you are koko, okay? Koko. Now, koko literally means red, right? But we use it to describe people who are not dark, right? So fair-skinned people. At the very bottom, we have core, and this is like extreme fair. So this is just like the extreme dark at the opposite side, right? So core is extreme fair. Sometimes we say watomojem, the person has fallen into blood. The person is so fair that you can see his or her blood underneath the skin. And just like the tum, we use this sometimes in a derogatory manner to insult people. So if someone tells you, you are as red as palm oil. This is insulting, all right? Now, beyond all that, we also have ofri, and that is an albino. So now that we have all these vocabulary items, let's put them in some descriptive sentences. We are starting with ourselves. So if I want to say I am a black person, so I'm an African, I will say miye bibini, right? Miye bibini. If you are more than one, I'll say ebi before. Ebi before. I told you ebi before is the plural of obibini or bibini, okay? So miye bibini, I am a black person, an African. Ebi before, we are Africans. We are black people, okay? If I were a white person, I would say meye bruni. If you are more than one, we would say abrofo. Abrofo. Again, abrofo is the plural of bruni or obruni. If I'm very dark skinned, I'll say meyetum. But I don't think too many people will describe themselves as being tum. So let's go a little below that. If I'm dark skinned, I will say miyetuntum, or miyenipatuntum. I'm a dark skinned person. We can also have miyetuntum kakra, or kofiyetuntum, or kofienipatuntum. Okay? We can also have the negatives. So we can say minyetuntum, or minyenipatuntum, ama nyenipatuntum, ama nyenipatuntum. Okay? So you can have the positive, you can have it in a negative. If we go a little beneath that, I will say mekyea, and take note of how this is written. I told you that jj, unlike the other ones, is a verb. So it gets represented even in writing as a verb. So as you can see, I have it written together with the subject me. Okay? So we have mekyea, okay? Or ojije. If we are more than one, I'll say yejije. Yejije. Moving further below, I can say mekyea koko, mekyea koko, or mekyea nipa koko, mekyea nipa koko, oya koko, oya nipa koko, kwame ye nipa koko, ajua ye nipa koko. Okay, and in the negative, I'll say menye nipa koko, menye nipa koko, ama nye nipa koko, ama nye nipa koko, mekyea koko kakra, mekyea koko kakra, or meyere ye koko kakra, meyere ye koko kakra. Me papa nye nipa koko, me papa nye nipa koko. Me maame ye nipa tuntum, me maame ye nipa tuntum. Abena ye koko, abena ye koko. Kwame ye nipa tuntum, kwame ye nipa tuntum. Kofi maame nye nipa tuntum, kofi maame nye nipa tuntum. Me papa ye nipa koko, me papa ye nipa koko.